To be sincerely honest with you, I feel people from the Europe, especially people from UK, should actually go and make more research about Black Americans or about America before actually coming to the media, social media, to say stuff about them. Honestly, I used to be embarrassed when I watch so many videos, so many interviews they do online, so many podcasts, and I see the way they label Black Americans. I'm like, these people really, really need to go study these people, because I think there is this misunderstanding, or there's this, there's this divide kind of, and it's not really supposed to be that way, right? Because you can't keep talking about something you know nothing about, and that's the truth. You really know nothing. You keep saying these people don't have culture, but you watch Mariah Carey, you listen to PDD, you listen to all of them, Michael Jacksons and the rest, and you say they don't have culture. This is really crazy. Like, this has been going on for years, and I don't even think this is even about to stop. But to be honest, I just feel these people really need to go and learn these things, because there is nothing to actually be, going this back and forth for. That's what I think. Anyways, just watch this videos. I'll be back.
When you get someone from who's not American's perspective on it, that's actually indulged in our culture as well, because you're not green to the American shit either.
No, because people can call me a culture vulture sometimes. I'm like, I'm so sorry, and I mean this in the nicest possible way, but what is Black American culture? What is that? Because you guys don't know where you're from. So what is Black American? I don't like
when people say that.
Okay, cool, but and I get what you're saying, but then when people say I'm a culture vulture, it's like, I was growing up on hip hop and rap and stuff like that. That's my culture, hip hop. I'm Jamaican, but I was also brought up on hip hop, Nas. Yeah. That was my culture.
Your family's probably like the Windrush.
Yeah, God knows, I don't know into that depth, but that's my culture. So how dare other people try and tell me what my culture is? So when I come and do interviews and doing whatever, I don't look at myself any different to an African American person.
I could agree with that. It's basically the same.
It's just the accent's different.
We're in the UK.
Yeah,
if you were here, you would be considered a Black person. Nobody would.
Slick Rick is from the UK. MF Doom was born in the UK. You can't fucking say
people try to drag 21 Savage when they found out he was also
some of the all-time greatest artists in hip hop are from the UK. You feel me? The original DJ credited with the birth of hip hop, Kool Herc, is Jamaican. You feel me?
I didn't mean to be offensive by the when I say you guys don't, but that's how it irritates my soul, because I'm not, because it's like, that is my culture, rap, that's what I grew up on.
Yeah, people.
So that's what I know. I don't know anything. I wasn't growing up in country.
People are ignorant about the African diaspora and slavery and things like that. That's why I don't appreciate it when people say, "Oh, you guys don't know where you're from." Yeah, it's slavery. We've been here
100%. Yeah,
100 years.
Me personally, I'm from America.
But that's how long your family has been here to prove that point.
I only know American, Los Angeles, California,
your parents
Angelino shit.
And where are your parents
exactly.
from? Your parents might be from the South, or your parents might be from California.
California.
Okay, yeah, my grandma was born here. Yeah, my grandma was born here as well. So
there's definitely, I guess, still a strong cultural connection within America, for even though it's different when people are disconnected to what people be like, oh, their roots. And even me, my family's third or fourth generation American, you know what I mean? But I barely, when I've been to Europe, I don't feel like, oh, this is the motherland. I'm touching the holy soil.
One thing that never ceases to amaze me about people from the UK is that they think that Americans are so dumb and so uncultured. Meanwhile, they have never been to America and know nothing about America. I've gotten this comment on my video so much yesterday about Americans not having authentic food, and that only immigrants and ethnic foods here are like the UK. Wrong. To completely disregard Native Americans, that this is their homeland and we inherited so many Native American dishes. Any dish that has to do with corn, potatoes, tomatoes, all that stuff is native to American. Potatoes that you guys eat in the UK are not from the UK. It's from America. Then Black American food is native to America. And within Black American food, you have soul food, you have Gullah Geechee food, you have Creole food, you have Texas food. And in Texas, you have different types of barbecue. You have Tex-Mex, because guess who else is native to America? Those people from California and Texas that are what? Mexican. So all of these dishes that we have that are American are not European based. Everything here isn't from Italy, isn't from Ireland, isn't from the UK, isn't from Germany. It's American. Have a nice day. And before you speak on us again, know your fucking facts. Enjoy your curry sauce and your gravy.
What makes London London?
What makes it different from the US? Yeah, like we kind of like claim our roots a lot more. I mean, I feel like we are more kind of like culturally diverse.
Is it weird when African Americans don't know where they're from?
Yeah, strange.
It's not really our fault though.
I feel like people of ethnic race in the UK, like we tend to bond more with other people.
Yeah. So your British Africans here get mad at me when I say I'm American. I am African American, but my granddad's been in America, so technically America's all I know.
You're an American citizen. Do you know what you are? No, ethnically.
I don't know.
I would find that strange. I feel like I wouldn't really have a personality.
What? No, that's a hot take. You wouldn't have a personality because you don't know where you're from.
Like, I take pride in where I'm from. If we just didn't know where we was from and was just walking around saying we're British, like, we don't feel like we have a culture. I tend to bond more over food as well.
I just want to say this. Ethnically, I'm Haitian American, 100% Haitian, okay? But I hate when I have, especially, it's always Africans. There's nobody else that does this repetitive, regurgitated conversation every 3 to 6 months, always. Right? You guys say that Americans don't know where they're from. Obviously, if you've had 400 years of where your people have lived, generations after generations after generations, you are American. No one knows where they're technically, ethnically from due to the fact that the separation and the slave trade completely destroyed the language, the hairstyles, the ethnic practices. All of those things were destroyed by slavery. That's what it did. Comparison to you guys who immigrated to Britain, who are immigrants within the Britain place, right? Black Americans are Americans because they've lived there for multiple generations. I hope you understand. I hope that gets through your thick head. Because when you guys make this separation, because I wouldn't have a personality, I wouldn't this and this and that, all you do is further the white supremacy viewpoints of a white man and make us further divide each other from each other because of your stupidity. To be frankly honest about it, read a book, watch a documentary, do something else besides from looking like a buffoon in front of everybody. You're destroying your family name in front of everyone. Like, share, and comment. And you know what's the worst part of it all? You're just stealing everything from us and putting that boot accent on top of it that don't make it look any cuter than it already was.
Black British people, are you guys not embarrassed?
Well, they don't understand that we have our own version of soul food. And though we call it, we might say it's African food, or Nigerian food, Ghanaian food, Caribbean food, Canadian food, and traditional dishes. We have soul food over here. Soul food isn't exclusive to Americans. We just don't call it soul food. But again, it's about education.
Are you not embarrassed? This is really embarrassing.
I'm a firm believer that Black British people are in direct competition with Black Americans for relevancy at this point. Because why is there an incessant need to continuously bring up Black Americans unwarranted, unsolicited, and continuously compare yourself to a group of people you have nothing in common with?
I've said it before and I'll say it again. There is no such thing as Black British food. There's no such thing as Black British culture. There is only African culture or Caribbean culture in Britain. With American soul food, Black American food, you can't, because they have a right to have a thing called Black American culture and Black American food, whereas there is no such thing as Black British food or Black British culture. There is only African or Caribbean culture or African or Caribbean cuisine in Britain.
I said what I said.
I had this conversation. I'm in Nigeria right now for my friend's birthday, and half the people here are Black British. And we had a long discussion yesterday about what it means to be Black British, it's particularly around Black British food. And just because you put jollof rice on a plate with jerk chicken does not mean it's Black British food. There's no such thing as Black British food. There will be maybe Black British food and a unified Black British culture a century from now, but you do not have soul food. You have Jamaican food, Nigerian food, Dominican food, Ghanaian food, Bayesian food, Trini food. You don't have Black British food. Soul food was the food that was created from enslaved Africans in America over the course of 5 to 6 centuries in a new land. The same time that Jamaican food was invented, the same time Brazilian food was invented, that's when African American food was invented. And to come online with your full chest and say that Black Americans lack education while making the most uneducated statement about a group of people is just fucking hilarious. At this point, the jokes write themselves. And it would behoove you to just stop talking about Black Americans like we are the same as you, because you're not the same as us. And to think all of this happened over you defending white people's food, which is not your food. enjoy your beans and toast.
If you're black and raised in England in the 90s, then you're obsessed with American television, especially black American television. And here is why. In the 90s, we only had 4 TV channels in the UK, and then basically we got 5. Like, we had BBC One, BBC Two, Channel 3, Channel 4, and then later on Channel 5. Those channels were very, very white. There were not a lot of black people on the shows on those channels, unless they were on the news or a show called The Bill, which was basically about police officers. So black actors would be getting arrested by the police, or a show called Crime Watch, which would reenact the crimes that happened that month, and they'd get black actors to play in the reconstruction of the crimes. So yeah, the black people representation for me growing up was 0, really, until I watched The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Janet Hubert, dark skin Aunt Viv, was the first black woman I saw on TV. I was obsessed with her. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air used to come on after school on BBC Two, so I would come home from school and watch black Americans live their best life. Eventually, cable was invented, and we got cable. And when we got cable, that opened the world to American TV and film. There used to be a network called Trouble, and Trouble would show back to back black American shows. That they would take shows from UPN, ABC, NBC, and put them all on one network. So you'd wake up and you'd be watching Hanging with Mr. Cooper, followed by My Wife and Kids, then The Parkers, then One on One, then In the House, then Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, then Different Strokes, then Martin, then The Steve Harvey Show, then The Jamie Foxx Show, then City Guys, then Smart Guy, and then what else was there? There was loads. There was literally all these black programs, and that shaped my life. Like, imagine only seeing yourself represented on TV, but the person playing you isn't British, if that makes sense. Like, I saw myself in American black women because there wasn't any shows that represented like typical black British girls. Like, I was really smart. I, lived in a normal family. I was just an ordinary black British girl. And so I really identified with shows like Sister Sister and Moesha and That's So Raven, and like I saw myself in these black American girls.
Online I read a lot about how African Americans aren't in touch with their like countries, like back home, their origins.
That is true.
Compared to British black people who like migrants who are, even when you have 2nd generation, 3rd generation British people, they still are in touch with their home. What do you think might be affecting that as well?
I feel like I talked to some of my British friends who are black, and they've actually told me representing the countries they're from kind of separates them a little bit. When we're African American, every black person to us is just a black person. It's not, oh, what country are you from? No. It's not about what country he's from. He's Jamaican, and we're not gonna be like, oh, I'm not gonna hang out with Jamaican. He's just me and him were just black. I'm Haitian, he's Jamaican. That shit don't even cross our minds. But sometimes I'm here in bed.
I was just thinking this the other day, how the police, like, in America, if you every black person, you be African, they don't care where you're from. Like, you're black, and you're from roughly, that's what they take. But here, I realize every black person, they represent their country, no matter what generation they're from. They always go back to their country. They always represent their country. That gives them a sense of, like, identity. In America, you're just black.
For real, it's weird. Like, it's cool. I'm gonna be honest, I like that feeling, because sometimes you feel like you got somebody with you. Like, he's black, I'm black, we understand. I like that feeling.
But then, like, let's say, for example, in London, you have, like, let's say British Ghanaians, and then you've also got British, like, Ugandans. And then each culture, they're able to, of course, they connect because they're both black, but then also at the same time, they also appreciate their own separate cultures. Do you think that's something that is missing in America? Like, do you feel like it's a positive or a negative?
It's weird because, like, every black person in America is just on American culture, and it's like, what is American culture? There's real culture where we're originally from, our countries, but I don't know, coming here I feel like there is a little bit of culture in America, the way we dress, the way we talk, the shit we care about. I do feel like that. Coming here, I realized what it meant to be American, not just black. For America, we're not American, we're black. Exactly. Nobody in America is different what you guys think of Americans. An American is a crazy white guy with a big gun that'll kill anybody that comes on their property. To us, y'all call us Americans. We just black. We think everybody we just black. That's a good feeling to me. When I travel to other countries, I realize what it means to represent America.
Black Americans have a recorded tendency of throwing rocks and hiding their hands and then playing victim when they're called out for their lack of education as Americans, not as black people, but as Americans. So I remember when black Americans were referring to African braiders as the Africans, saying the Africans played in my hair, then African people were saying, we actually don't like when you refer to us using the term Africans because it feels a bit derogatory and the tone and the way in which you're using it feels derogatory, to which black Americans like, it's never been derogatory before, how is it derogatory? And it became a whole thing. And then Africans had to explain to Americans how referring to them as the Africans and African braiding shops can be seen as derogatory to some people, and had to explain African identity, especially how it's perceived in America and the reasons why that is offensive. I remember another time there were videos where black Americans were trying African food and made like a massive show of showing how disgusting they found it and how gross it was. Africans responded to that by saying, you guys eat soul food, which fine, mean, whatever, talking about how soul food is unhealthy. And then black Americans replied talking about, that's so disrespectful. You don't know the history of the food. You don't know like the history of slavery, this, that, the other. We had to eat this. We had no choice. But did you not think about the history of the African dishes, which black Americans were disrespecting? What? There was another time where black Americans said that black British people eat disgusting British food, which is horrific, and this and that and the other, talking about beans on toast, full English breakfast and roasts and some other like mashed potatoes and random stuff like that, to which black British people explained, you don't have a clear understanding of blackness in the UK, because most black people in the UK are from Afro-Caribbean descent, meaning that we eat our home country's meals mostly, but we also do enjoy British food. And then again, we were talking about, well, you guys have soul food for breakfast. And then once again, it's black Americans are now the victims because we're being racist when you were the first ones that came and talked about our food. Another time, black Americans, or Americans in general, actually, I don't think it was just black Americans, but Americans in general were saying how disgusting Chinese takeaway looks and how racist it is to call a Chinese takeaway a Chinese, to which Asians or East Asians living in the UK, specifically Chinese people living in the UK, had to then reply saying how racist it was to call that food disgusting when Chinese immigrants that came to the UK and made Chinese takeaways had to create that food as a means of survival to cater to the British taste, and to call it disgusting was really kind of like xenophobic and showed a complete disregard or misunderstanding of UK, like, East Asian experiences. There is another example, woman. Now with this Black Scottish thing, every black person across the world, seemingly outside of America, seems to understand how migration patterns work. So what black people globally are explaining is that, as opposed to slavery, where black people were forcibly moved to the Americas, and then specifically in the USA after slavery was abolished, although most black people lived in the South, there were very specific hotspots where it was mainly safe for black people to live, and so black Americans mainly congregated in those spaces. Those aren't how migration patterns work for all different groups of black people. And so most other black people understand that whilst slavery migration patterns happen in a very specific way, so it's normal for black people to be shocked that black people live outside of those hotspots for black Americans. When Africans and Afro-Caribbeans migrate, they sometimes migrate to hotspots, but Africans don't also all have an understanding of where is safe, where isn't safe, where is white, where is black, or even have a care, because that's not a part of their history of like having to, like, if you live in Africa and you're moving to the UK or you're moving to any other country, you might not necessarily know how good or bad racism is in any one specific place, so you can move anywhere. Most black people outside of America, or most like Afro-Caribbean people, understand the fact that you will have family in the most random places. Like one of my mum's best friends lives in fucking Oman. Like, and like, I know I have cousins that live all across the world. So it's not surprising, shocking, exciting for us to find out that black people live in different countries, because we know that, because we have an understanding of how Afro-Caribbean migration patterns work, which is that they're pretty sporadic. Versus black Americans don't seem to have an understanding as to how Afro-Caribbean migration patterns work, which is why they would be excited or surprised or shocked that those people exist. And regardless of whether or not certain groups of black people come up on my For You page, I wouldn't be excited, because it's just general knowledge. Like, it's not about an education system, it's not about school systems failing. General knowledge of how Afro-Caribbean like migration patterns work is why people outside of America aren't shocked to find out that black people live in Scotland. So I think that sums everything up. But once again, black British people weren't even being rude. We were just saying, oh, like, why are you surprised? And then black Americans are saying we're now shitting on them, or whatever was being said, that we're showing hatefulness, that we don't let them have a fun time. It's funny to us that that's not a general point of knowledge, that black people exist everywhere. Or like, there's no need to be excited. And this is not to say that I don't think black Scottish people should get their shine. They 100% should. But like, it's not surprising. But black Americans are also denying or refusing to acknowledge the fact that in that discussion, a lot of them were saying that they believed black Scottish people to be Aboriginal to Scotland, that they didn't want black Scottish people to let Africans steal everything that they have, and that they're so much nicer than black British people, when technically, in terms of nationality, black Scottish people are black British, even if they don't identify as that. And yeah, black Scottish people and black British people do have different cultures. But black Americans don't understand that. They weren't talking about that. They were just talking about the fact, they were just trying to create a divide in some weird, like, triangulation tactic to separate black Brits and black Scots, when black Scots are black Brits by nationality. So there are so many other examples of where black Americans, like the Tyler situation, they insert themselves into someone else's area, place, blackness, identity, and then when they're corrected and it's explained that they have a lack of education and understanding and knowledge because they are American, not because they're black, because they're American, then now they're the victims. And it's a constant thing. And this constant fight to make us talking about how uneducated black Americans are about blackness is really dangerous, because it is implying that the issue is blackness when it's not, it's Americanness. And it's like you're becoming the first defenders for American exceptionalism. Why are you defending that? No black British person is going to defend like poor British values, which black Brits also hold. Because we understand the negative values that we hold of Brits, and we talk about them and we discuss them, and we're happy to be called out on them. Elitism, sure. Like, being grumpy, sure. Being mean, sure. Complaining, sure. Like, all those things are very true. We would never deny them. So the denial that black Americans are under is really, like, it shows a lack of willingness to progress. Yeah. I think I've said everything.
The point was that people said that we can't comment on that because we're not African American.
I don't think y'all can talk about it because you don't understand what it's like at the end of the day to have to build something from the ground up like African Americans had to. You guys relatively still have your parents or grandparents or whatever the case may be ties to that culture. You don't know what it's like to be subjugated for 500 years to enslavement and build a culture from the ground up, and then have people turn around and snatch your culture and just label it as, it's just Americans. That's just what Americans do. They're not as civilized. They're so ghetto, yada, yada, yada. You consume our media and then you refuse to believe that our culture has any importance on your life when it does. Even down to the fact that some of you mimic the accents that some people in our communities have. You copy our music. That is why you cannot have an opinion on our culture. How is that so hard to understand? I don't get it.
It's very one-sided, and that's why I keep saying it trickles down to jealousy. Because I tell every Black American, you got to think about it like this. Why is it the first thing a Black British person always wants to do is, oh, we know our roots, we speak about our roots, Yeah, y'all speak about y'all roots, but the funny thing is, where y'all roots are, y'all never lived there. Because my thing is, maybe it's best I don't know my roots, because it seems like the Black British people who scream they know their roots, y'all don't ever live in the countries that y'all have all this pride in. No, instead, y'all leave the country where you were oppressed in and then go to your oppressor's land and make him even more money. Except the difference is, instead for being in your country and them taking all your resources away from you and enslaving you in your own land, y'all get your asses up and then go to your oppressor's land and willingly make him more money. Because my thing is this, if y'all have all this pride in your roots, why are you not there to help make y'all? These are countries where they literally let y'all, like if you're from the Caribbean, they let you have a Black country. If y'all are from Black countries and y'all have all this pride in where you're from, then why are you not there putting wealth and finance in your own infrastructure? Why are you getting your ass up, getting on a ship and a plane, literally paying people to ask them to marry you so you can get citizenship in another country to go live a better life? Because if there's all this pride, then you should not be leaving where y'all are from in droves. Like, y'all should not be leaving in droves if y'all love where you're from so much. And that's where we get back to the lack of a community. Because the first thing they'll say is when I ask them, well, why aren't you in the country where y'all have pride in? Oh, corruption. So what you're saying is, in a country where if everybody's Black, the government is mainly Black, they don't even look out for you. Explains a lot. And then once again, you look at everybody crazy when we say some of y'all sold your own people. It shows because in the country y'all are from, y'all get treated like shit by y'all own people. So y'all can miss me with the whole, we know our roots, we know where we come from, our heritage. Once again, let me break it down to you. If you're Caribbean, you do not know your roots. Your roots was created once you got there on a ship that a lot of British, Spaniards, Dutch, French people brought you to. Portuguese as well. And once again, y'all don't make nobody over here want to know their roots, because seeing how y'all don't like to live in the places that y'all come from, why would I want to be there? A lot of y'all always had the same story where it's that y'all go from where y'all are from to like the UK and y'all be living in a 1-bedroom apartment with 5 or 6 different families from around the world. Lets me know that, baby, I think I'm all right where I'm from, because if you're willing to leave where you're from to go live in a 1-bedroom apartment or flat with 20 different strangers, it lets me know everything I need to know. But, oh well, all I say is when the next soccer game comes, tighten up them laces.
I have a genuine question for Black British people. Why do you guys hate Black Americans so much? Like, this is a genuine question. Every single interview clip I see on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, it's always something really ignorant toward Black Americans. And I know you guys like to tussle, and the number one thing you guys say is you don't know where you come from. It's almost as if you guys don't know history whatsoever. This is a genuine question. And this is not all of you guys, because I've met and I know plenty of Black amazing people from the UK, but it's a handful of just straight ignorance towards Americans and like resentment, animosity. Can someone please explain this phenomenon? Because I'm not getting it. Why is there so much hate towards Black Americans?
Where are you from, my man?
Lived in London, then I moved to the US, was there for 15 years and moved back.
How was your experience in the US?
It was a good experience in the US. I think everything is centered around the US, but I don't think it's their fault. I do think it's the media's fault. When I watch the news, the only thing I see is American news. Whereas when I'm back in London, I know what's going on around the world. It's more the media and less about the people.
What's the weirdest thing about the US?
I do think the food is bad.
Tastes bad, or as in not healthy?
not healthy. Way of life. What's better, UK or US? So it all depends on what you do for a living. If you're like not too well off, it's better to be in Europe. And I feel like you can enjoy your life a little bit more. You don't have to worry, you know, in terms of like healthcare and stuff like that. To make money and better standard of living, it would be in the US. What makes London London?
What makes it different from the US? Yeah, like we kind of like claim our roots a lot more. I mean, I feel like we are more kind of like culturally diverse.
Is it weird when African Americans don't know where they're from?
Yeah, strange.
It's not really our fault though.
I feel like people of ethnic race in the UK, like we tend to bond more with other people.
Yeah. To your British Africans here, get mad at me when I say I'm American. I am African American, but my granddad's been in America, so technically America's all I know.
You're an American citizen. Do you know what you are? No, ethnically.
I don't know.
I would find that strange. I feel like I wouldn't really have a personality.
What? No, that's a hot take. You wouldn't have a personality because you don't know where you're from.
Like, I take pride in where I'm from. If we just didn't know where we're from and was just walking around saying we're British, like we don't feel like we have a culture. We tend to bond more over food as well. Just call yourself American, mac and cheese and greens. That's just so like.
Soul food is part of Black American culture because it stems back from the slavery days. Off camera, we're talking about the divide between African Americans and African British. What is your stance on that?
When an African American tells them that they're just from America, they get angry or they get frustrated or they just don't understand that their answer is purely, I'm American. I'm Nigerian, but I'm also British. I was born in the UK, raised in the UK. I can't deny the fact that I've been absorbing this environment my whole life. I can't speak for African Americans, but you have your own culture, you have your own background, you have your own environment that you've been raised in, and that is as authentic of an identity as any other identity. If your grandparents are born in this country, your great-grandparents is the question. Are you trying to erase who they've known themselves to be? And if someone is telling you their own experience, to correct them is very audacious. Yeah, you're American?
She hit the nail on the head.
I can't lie, yeah, I try to avoid these comments all day, yeah, but I think Americans are genuinely slow, fam. I ain't heard one Black British person say African Americans have no culture. Not one. I can't lie to you in my whole life. Like, don't get it twisted. We have our own culture, fam. Like, Caribbean, African culture is our thing. Black British culture, yeah. But what going for Americans, bro? No one's attacking you lot. We're with you lot. We're with you. We're with you. We go through the same shit as you lot, just at a smaller scale, fam. So chill. Just chill out, bro. We're all black worldwide, fam. Relax. Bro, man's black like you lot. I'm black like you lot. I can dress the way I dress in London, go to New York and blend in. You wouldn't even know that I'm from London. So just, you lot, chill out, man. We're with you lot, man. Like, you lot come from Africa. We come from Africa. You lot come from the Caribbean. We come from the Caribbean. Bruv, slow down. Take a breather. It's okay. We're with you. Yeah. Like, we have our own hip-hop scene. We know where hip-hop comes from. We get it. It's cool.
The point was that people said that we can't comment on that because we're not African American.
I think to an extent, I think there's some, I don't know exactly what they said, there's some amount of
I think that's stupid.
Okay.
Like, I mean, okay.
Hold on, I'm stupid? No.
Oh, buddy, come on.
I'm sorry.
Yes. No, but like, it's just, I just don't care for when someone has an opinion. And like, the opinion wasn't egregious. And then like somebody you don't know from Adam and Eve that says, oh, you fucking Britz, you shouldn't be talking about none of this in general. Like,
yeah.
You got eyes, you got ears. If it's not egregious, if you're coming from a place of hate, just being nasty, why do you care? Like,
isn't it fair though to say that sometimes a person maybe it's not you're not allowed to form an opinion, but if you come from a totally different culture or a totally different context, it's easy for an outside person who's from that context to be like, hey, you're missing part of the story. But, so your opinion is misinformed.
So it's like okay,
because
cool.
maybe you're not from.
And when I say like it's not egregious, you're not being disrespectful. But there's also like you were saying like an extent of maybe where your opinion maybe should
you maybe know what you're talking about.
Stop.
Like,
you know
to know where I think we try and stay within our limits of what we know, and in terms of that's something. It's entertainment and it's on a global scale. And we're not talking about like
I don't think it's that serious.
I could never
because we talk about British shit all the time. Like,
no, but my thing is, I think with like the US and if the US wants to be seen as number one and wants to be seen as like the best and everybody takes in their content, then you also have to accept that everyone's going to comment on what's going on. But on the reversal, because Americans don't tend to take in the content from other countries, that's when it would be weird for you. It would be weird for you to comment on something that happens in France because how much French content are you consuming?
Unless it was on a global
the US, do it all
exactly.
the time.
But the US has kind of pushed everything in our faces. So unfortunately, we know way much more about the US than we'd most likely care to know. So or want to know. So then we have more commentary.
I really want Black British people to really look inward to understand why everything a Black American does evokes a visceral reaction from them. Black Americans found out that there are Black Scots, Black people exist in Scotland. And as Americans do, they're sarcastically being like, cousin, how y'all living over there? How colloquialisms that we would understand amongst each other that Black British people clearly from England clearly don't understand. But there's this ongoing thing with exceptionalism, with this narcissistic idea of themselves that they are smart and we are inherently dumb. So everything an American does is like, oh, the dumb American. This can't be how smart you are about the world.
What's the capital of the United States? Let's start easy. The capital of the United States. Oh, bro, please don't do me dirty. The capital of the United States. I actually don't know, you know. You don't know?
What is the main language spoken in Canada? I will say American, but is it? They ain't got an accent, man. I mean, they're just Canadians, Americans.
And what language do they speak in Mexico?
Mexican.
And could you explain to the public how you got to that conclusion?
Because, I don't know, Mexican, you get me? Like, it's Italian, Italy.
What's the capital of America?
Capital of America, don't have a capital.
Are you sure with that answer?
Yeah.
What's the capital of Australia?
Australia. Yeah. It's a continent.
So it doesn't know.
So it doesn't.
You're upset that Black Americans discovered that there are Black people living in Scotland. When Black people in America barely just found out a few years ago that there are Black people in England, we do not have any exposure to the UK in terms of Black people. We consume the UK. All that's shown to us is England and more specifically London. But the thing that gets me is that you guys think you are the arbiters of the world culture and that you know so much and you're so traveled when you're not. You guys are cultured on Europe. You know European things, European themes, European history, and you think going to Spain every year makes you travel. When you guys don't even know anything about America. You don't know anything about the groups of people we have here, that there are people here who speak German, people here speak French as their first language, that we have Scots-Irish ancestry of people here, that there's so many things about America you don't know. Coming here, you'll be shocked to find that there are Gullah Geechee people, Creole people, Melungeon people, Pennsylvania Dutch people, Amish people, Mexicans, those natives here. There's so many different pockets of Americans you have zero exposure to because those parts of our culture are not exported to the world. The same way Black Scottish people are not exported or have a magnifying glass on them in America. It's rich. It's so rich. I just don't understand how the cognitive dissonance you guys possess is that you think Americans are dumb and everything we do when you also don't know anything about America. You don't know anything about America, but you think you do because you watch TV all your fucking life. Let people have joy. Let people have joy. This conversation did not include you. Let people have joy. Let Black Americans discover that there are Black people somewhere else in the world that are welcoming them with open arms. Unlike you, English people, who are just fucking bitter and miserable. The socialization of accepted xenophobia that is given to all Americans by all Europeans is quite wild. Like, I don't know if you guys are just taught to hate your Americans by culturally, by proxy, because you live amongst white British people, but the hate that you have for Americans is absurd. It's absurd. Like, leave us alone, bruh. And you always say that we're centering ourselves, but you find every opportunity to hop into a conversation that did not include you, and then don't see how dumb you actually look.
Americans have their own culture, and that's just the truth. In fact, so many of their cultures are the things a lot of people are copying right now in the world, including UK, including Africa and all of that, London and all of that. Most of the things you guys put on, the way you dress and everything, is indirectly being affected by Black American culture. The music and all of that is Black America. So I really see no reason why you keep overlooking that side and you keep saying, all you keep centering on is, or you bother on is, oh, these people don't know where they're coming from. They don't know where they're from, and they don't know. Who told you? A lot of them are from America. We understand that some of them came through slavery from Africa. Very few of them, but a lot of them are indigenous. They're natives, right? They have these Black people already in America, even before America was formed. Go and research these things and stop, all these things you're doing. Stop all the labeling and all of that. There's no need, there's no point. What we are all trying to do as Black people is to come together. And in coming together, I think we should go and learn everybody's differences. Learn what you don't know about these people so you can be able to talk. So when you're talking out publicly, you won't be hurting the other person. And that's the problem you all are having. All right. I really want to be in the middle of this. I don't want it to look like, oh, I'm for Black Americans, or I'm from the UK, or I'm for UK. I want to be in the middle. I want to settle this thing by saying, I think you all are misunderstanding these people. Black Americans are very lovely people. If you've been in America, you can tell. If you've met them one-on-one, you can tell. They are really very lovely and accommodative. Right? It's just the narrative that people see online. The whiteys have labeled these people really badly. And so people see them as lazy, people see them as lousy, people see them as chaotic people, troublesome and all of that. They see them as poor, illiterate, and that's not even true. That's not even true right now. I think you all need to really go and get your facts right, and let's stop all these things. And that's all I can say for now. Right, I'll stop here. My name is BJ. I love you all. I love you all. I don't like all of these things going on. Right, these are foreign stuff. Should stop. So we'll move ahead. Right, I'll stop here. I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.